in the book, the residents became fascinated by two articles that they read in the New York Times probably 7 or 8 years ago. And one of these articles was about a career criminal. This was a guy who was in his mid-60s. He was in very poor health, had spent most of his life in jail, had gotten out, promised his wife he was going to go straight. He went straight for about a month, stole a Cadillac, drove it straight to New York and started holding up formal wear stores while pulling his oxygen bottle behind him. And he then, after holding up several stores, got back in the car, headed back south again. Highway patrol noticed it was a stolen car, gave chase, he ran into a ditch and flipped over and died. But the whole idea of this guy, this career criminal, sticking up formal wear stores while pulling an oxygen bottle was just so kind of pathetic and compelling to the residents that they just really couldn't let go of it. And then the other character is a guy, a much younger guy who is a content screener on the internet. Now, content screeners are people, when you go on Facebook or YouTube or any of these user-sourced websites, you can check if it's inappropriate. Well, when you check something like that, the content screeners are the ones whose responsibility it is to see what the dregs of humanity is putting in front of them. And once again, that became that whole idea of people whose job was to do that became very fascinating. So the essential idea that started the Brick Eaters was, okay, how can we take these two incredibly different, culturally diverse characters and bring them together and make, from a movie point of view, what would be a buddy movie. And so anyway, where we are is the two of them are together. And what you have is the two of them and then ultimately the villain. And our villain here is very much of a kind of redneck character, white supremacist, whatever, ultra-conservative who has won the lottery. So once again, if you think about it, okay, you're giving a very big gun to a very outrageous person. And they have ultimately come in conflict with him. So as we start here, our two characters are Ted and Willie, and then the villain is Crawford Beasley. So it's shortly after sunset when Ted and Willie return to the two warehouses owned by Crawford Beasley. As the Honda turns off the main road and prepares to pull into between the two buildings, it suddenly stops. Looking at each other suspiciously, the pair is surprised to see a semi-tractor truck parked between the two warehouses, parked behind the two warehouses, blocking the end of the passageway. Obviously uncomfortable, the ex-con speaks. "I don't like this Stork. That truck wasn't here before." "I know, Willie. I don't like it either. Wait here. I'm gonna check it out." Parking the Honda at the opening of the corridor, Hendricks exits the car, walks out to the road and looks around. The area is deserted. Returning to the Honda, the techie gets in and says, "I don't know, Willie. Yeah, it's weird, but there's nobody around. I guess it's okay." He drives the car up into the shadows between the two buildings in Custom Motor. The air is dead, and this leaden atmosphere mirrors a total lack of movement and sound. Donning their silver sheets again, the strange twosome is moving towards the rear of the building when Willie stops and whispers, I'm sorry, Stork, but my goddamn prostate's acting up. I gotta pee. Look, I'll let you in the building, and you grab the tea break, okay? You don't need me. Now give me a few minutes to take care of business, then we can get the fuck out of here." "Yeah, okay, Willie, whatever you say." Using his flashlight, the old man quickly picks the lock and opens the door, allowing Hendricks to enter the metal building. Standing in the shadows, the ex-con relieves himself, then quietly waits for his partner's return. The autumn air is cool. As he waits, Graves lights a cigarette and watches the smoke as it joins his frosty breath, creating tiny clouds that curl and waft their way up into the night. Taking another deep drag and exhaling, his attention fixates on the puffy abstraction leaving his lips until a distant sound grabs his attention. Holding his breath, the old man cocks his head and listens to the faint hum of a motor, quickly growing louder and louder. Alarmed, it's obvious that something is approaching. As the noise reaches a dull roar, Willie ducks down behind the Honda just as a large vehicle enters the opening between the buildings. In the dark, from his position, hidden behind the small Japanese car, Graves is unable to make out the vehicle. But one thing is clear: the Honda is trapped. Uncertain, the old man removes his pistol from his waistband and waits as the car blocking the exit sits in silence. Suddenly, the entire area is washed in light, accompanied by the sound of electronic deadbolts sliding into place, breaking the silence with an ominous grinding noise. Not only is the Honda pinned between the two larger vehicles, but Ted Hendricks is now apparently trapped inside the warehouse. Outwardly calm, despite their dire circumstances, Willie listens as footsteps circle around the new vehicle, then stop as the opening and closing of a hatchback is heard, followed by a crackling electronic sound. Eerie, harsh, and abrasive, a voice, amplified through a bullhorn, slices through the air.
Ha ha ha! You dumb fucks! You idiots! You pathetic excuse for subhumans! Did you actually think me unaware? That I didn't know you were following me? Ha ha ha! What utter and sheer stupidity! How much did I delight at your naive and moronic ignorance? How easy was it for me to attach a GPS tracking device to that wretchedly antiquated jacked car? Okay, no more, Mr. Nice Guy. I'm rolling up the door and giving you exactly 30 seconds to leave my building crawling on your hands and knees. Understand?
As the large metal door rises, footsteps are heard approaching the entrance to the warehouse. After a few moments, the amplified voice pierces the silence again.
All right, imbeciles, your time is up. I'm coming in. When this door closes behind me, you will be trapped like insects in a cesspool, quivering and cowering as I track you down like the despicable dogs you are. Are you ready to die, dogs?
The sound of footsteps is heard again, quickly followed by the noise of the rolling metal door closing with a screeching thud. But as silence dominates the oral landscape again, a single throbbing drone purrs quietly in the background. In his haste, Crawford Beasley exited the Hummer with its engine still running. Rising up from behind the Honda, Willie cautiously approaches the large vehicle and peeks inside. Noting the key in the ignition and the absence of anyone nearby, he enters the cab. Carefully placing his oxygen bottle on the seat beside him, he shifts the car into reverse and backs up to the front of the warehouse. Sitting right outside the closed metal door, the old man then triggers the car's air horn, blasting its intrusive screech across the nocturnal landscape. Inside the warehouse, as chaos erupted, Ted Hendricks climbed on top of a stack of T-bricks. From this perch, 10 feet above the ground, he is able to follow the progress of Beasley as the older man methodically searches for intruders until, without warning, the uber-loud horn of his Hummer penetrates the closed door, immediately followed by the roaring throb of its engine. Stunned, Beasley rushes to open the closed metal door. And as he does, Willie, watching the steel barrier from inside the Hummer, guns the motor again, then steers the huge car back in the direction of Kingdom City. When the metal door finally opens, Beasley, carrying his bullhorn in one hand and his pistol in the other, is shocked to see his car driving away. Dumbfounded with drunken belief, the middle-aged man feebly chases the Hummer down the highway.
Stop! Stop! Do you hear me? That's my car. You can't take my car. Do you hear me? You can't take my car. How?
As he lowers the bullhorn, Beasley's voice assumes a faintly flaccid and fragile tone. How will I get home? Approximately 100 feet from the warehouse, the quasi-military devotee stops and stares, his beloved Hummer gradually growing smaller in the distance. Back at the warehouse, Ted Hendricks stands for a moment in the open doorway, watching the curious interplay between Crawford Beasley and his rapidly disappearing Hummer. But, quickly realizing his opportunity, the techie rushes back to his Honda, slides in behind the steering wheel, and speeds away, driving in the opposite direction. Hearing the sound of the escaping car, Beasley immediately turns and fires wildly, aiming several shots in the general direction of the Honda. But, immersed in his own futility, he slowly lowers the gun as his head erratically pivots back and forth, following the flight of the two departing vehicles.